listen to this very, very closely. We're going to talk about gaining skeletal muscle when you're on a cut and gaining skeletal muscle ultimately when you're losing weight. Okay, so a cut and losing weight, that's kind of a synonymous term. You'll often hear like I'm cutting. That means you're trying to eat in a calorie deficit to lose weight. So when it comes to gaining skeletal muscle, this is the muscle that is built around your skeleton or your bones, of course, to allow you to do all those different things, your activities of daily living, like walking down the street, getting groceries, but also pushing yourself in the gym, working out hard on squats, etc. So the thing about gaining skeletal muscle is that it is very hard to do on a cut. Very, very hard to do on a cut or calorie deficit. Basically, right? We need to be in a calorie deficit or eating less calories every single day than we burn to be losing weight. And the reason why is because muscle is highly metabolically active. It's highly metabolically active. So in this sense, we are basically, when we're on a cut, we're trying to not spend as much energy. We're not trying to use energy because from a biological sense, you can think of it as like, okay, my body is starving. I am not getting enough calories in to maintain my weight. So I don't want to be wasting it to build muscle and ultimately cost more energy for my body because I don't have that much energy to spare to keep my internal organs alive. So that's a big thing to consider, right? Muscle is highly metabolically active. This is why the extra calories are so crucial when you're trying to, on the flip side, gain weight, because those extra calories will tell your body, we're good. We don't need to, worry about having famine and not getting enough calories to get our internal organs all the energy they need. So go ahead, build a little bit of muscle. No problem. No problem. So who can gain skeletal muscle on a cut? Well, there's a few individuals. New lifters are one of them. So people who are just starting out in the gym, we call them novices, right? Maybe have never touched a weight before. They're going to be somebody who can, be pretty skinny and still not really eat that much. And just because they're providing a new stimulus to their body, they are usually going to boost their overall muscle, right? So they're going to build some muscle, which is really, really cool when you're first starting out because this can give you some really good overall motivation that you might need. You see some good results very quickly. Very, very overweight individuals, I should have write that too. Had a mistake there, apologize, but very overweight individuals, not underweight. Very overweight individuals are going to be able to gain skeletal muscle when they're losing weight. And the interesting thing about this too is that individuals who are very, very overweight actually have a large percentage of muscle already, even if they don't lift any weights at all, just because they're getting in those extra calories. So their body is in muscle protein synthesis, where they are producing more muscle mass overall for those different activities. But they aren't lifting. So when they start to lose a little bit of weight, they're going to preserve a lot of that muscle, and they can in fact still build a little bit of muscle too, which I think is very, very empowering for individuals who are overweight. Of course, we know people who are on steroids, right? Somebody who is, taking exogenous hormones like testosterone, all these other things. I'm not super in depth on all the different drugs out there because I don't use any and I don't ever recommend people to use them unless they're recommended by your doctor, of course, which that's a totally different story. But I don't know much about them. But I do know, in fact, that they help greatly. And if you are on a cut, you can keep a large amount of your muscle and potentially even gain a little bit of muscle when you are in a calorie deficit if you're on steroids. And then the last group of people, and this is really cool, so make sure to listen closely on this one. People who had muscle and then lost it. And I want to tell you a story that happened to me. When I was a senior in high school, I was having some kind of back issues, and I was told to just sit in a back brace for an entire summer. And this was devastating for me because I couldn't lift, I couldn't work out. And when this happened, I lost a large amount of muscle. I lost a large amount of muscle. And when this happened and I got out of the back brace, I started to lift again, and I noticed that I almost blew up. My muscle and my strength came back extremely rapidly, and I wasn't really eating that many extra calories. I actually think I was eating at maintenance or maybe a little bit under. But this is the same for anyone who basically had a lot of muscle, then lost it, then they tried to rebuild it. Your muscle, when you build a little bit of muscle, right, in your body, there's actually a muscle cell called myonuclei that is permanent. It's a permanent change that is built when it comes to muscle. And when you lose muscle, your muscle shrinks, but that muscle cell never goes away. So the really, really cool thing about this is that you can lose the muscle, but then gain it back super quickly, because that muscle cell, which tells your basically body, hey, we know how to build muscle because we got this cell right here. It's going to help us do it. It's still there. It's like, hey, go for it. Build that muscle. Boom, you're good. So just a really, really neat thing about lifting and why everybody should lift is because there are some permanent changes that happen to where even if you're in a layoff or something, you're going to be able to gain that strength and muscle back incredibly quickly. Now, when it comes to building muscle, for the most part, or skeletal muscle, you're going to be needing to progressively overload your body. You're going to need to be challenging it with more weight, more repetitions over time, and then a calorie surplus. For most individuals, you need to be eating over your maintenance calories. If you don't know how many calories you should be eating on a daily basis, I usually recommend the NIH body weight planner. You can type that into Google. That's going to give you a good starting metric on where you should go for gaining some weight and what you can do in your overall workout routine to get the most out of it. This will improve your body composition for most individuals. And the cool thing about this too, even though you didn't lose weight, because your body composition improved, you're going to gain a little bit of weight, but you might actually look like you lost weight because your body composition got better. So if you gain more muscle but keep the same amount of fat, or only gain a tiny bit of fat, you're going to basically look like a better human being, which is kind of the name of the game and why building muscle is so incredibly important for your weight loss goals. So go ahead and drop a like on this video if you learned something new. Comment down below. Let me know if you are going to be starting resistance training. I highly recommend it. You will not regret it. And just remember, at the end of the day, the best way to build muscle is with that calorie surplus and pushing yourself in the gym. But of course, we can't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Once again, we help individuals of all abilities improve their overall health and knowledge of the gym, regardless of where they are currently at in their fitness journey.